What's up guys, TopTierYugioh here, and this is going to be a Subterror Hieratic deck profile, so stick around until the end if you want to know why I think this could be one of the most competitive Subterror hybrids yet. So let's go ahead and get started. So the reason we play these two archetypes together revolves around Subterror Nemesis Warrior, and Nemesis Warrior's effect is that you contribute itself and any other monster on your side of the field to special summon a Subterror monster from your deck. Now the fact that you tribute that other monster can trigger your Heretic effects, and so the Heretics provide access to Ultimaya Tzolkin, and then by extension Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, as well as rank 6s, Cyframe Lord Omega, and other Synchro monsters that normally wouldn't be accessible to a Subterror deck. And so adding these powerful monsters into the deck as well as a way to special summon themselves really raises the ceiling of the deck and can allow it to compete with a lot of other decks. So let's go ahead and get into the profile. So first we have 3 Subterror Nemesis Warriors. He is the focal point of the deck, so it's important to run 3. We want to see this as often as possible. Next we play 3 Subterror Behemoth Stalagmo. His flip effect is to discard a Subterror monster and draw 2 cards. His effect is a +1 and it helps us draw to our other combo cards, so it's really important to trigger his effect when possible, and so we want to play 3. And then because his effect makes us discard a Subterror monster, it's also important to max out on all of the other Subterror monsters, such as Nemesis Warrior and Umastrix. And another reason we play 3 Umastrix is because his effect is so good for disruption. Banishing opponent's monsters right now is very, very crucial. Against Blue Eyes, you can banish the stones. Against Pendulums, you're banishing monsters that they won't be able to get back. Against Burning Abyss, you can banish Beatrice, Dante, etc. so you're not getting their effects. And so really, in most matchups, it's really useful to be able to banish monsters. So Umatrix is definitely one of the better cards in the deck, especially when combined with Tarot Tray, which we'll get to later. For the Heretic engine, we play 3 Heretic Dragon of Tefnuit, 2 Su, and 1 E-Set. I play 3 Tefnuit because it's the only one that can special summon itself from hand for free, so no cost, nothing. It's just sort of like a Cyber Dragon. It's the only one that can do that, and so it's important to play at 3 as it's the easiest combo piece to summon. We play 2 Heretic Dragon of Su, which can special summon itself, but you have to tribute another Heretic to do so. Because you need another Heretic, it's not really as useful by itself, and so I thought 2 is a very good number. You don't want it at 3, but you definitely want more than 1. And then 1 E-Set, because while he can't special summon himself, he is the only one that can normal summon himself without a tribute, meaning he's the only one that you can summon if you're going first turn 1. And so it's very important to at least have 1 copy of E-Set in your deck, and I think combined with the 3 Convocations, you can see it fairly often. For the normal monsters, I play 1 Labradorite Dragon. It gives access to Ultimaya Tzolkin as well as your rank 6s. The other normal monsters, if you do happen to play other normals, is definitely up to you. But I chose Flambeau Guard because it's the only one that can interact with your Subterrors that you would summon off of Nemesis Warrior. So from Nemesis Warrior's effect, you usually want to summon a Behemoth. You usually want to summon a Stalagmo or an Umastrix. They're levels 7 and 10 respectively. And so if you were to play Flambeau Guard, it can allow you to go into level 8 Synchros or level 11 Synchros. The other normal monsters that you could play are Galaxy Serpent and Alexandrite Dragon. With Galaxy Serpent being a level 2, you can't really synchro into a level 9 synchro with Umastrix. There's no good level 9s. Or a level 12 with Stalagmo. I don't even think there is a level 12 synchro monster that you can summon. And so Galaxy Serpent isn't really good with your Behemoths. Alexandrite Dragon's a level 4 non-tuner, and so it also isn't good with your other Behemoths. However, Alexandrite Dragon and Galaxy Serpent are good with Nemesis Warrior. So you can also summon other copies of Nemesis Warrior from his own effect, and then with Alexandrite Dragon you can go into rank 4s, and with Galaxy Serpent you can go into level 6 Synchros. However, I don't think either of those really are necessary in this deck. And so because Nemesis Warrior can special summon itself from the graveyard as well, I don't think you really need more level 4s. You can summon rank 4s just fine with multiple copies of itself. So Alexandrite's out, and then when it comes to Galaxy Serpent, the 2 good level 6 Synchro monsters right now are Coral Dragon and Stardust Charge Warrior. Now Synchroing in and of itself is a -1, and then Coral Dragon's effect makes you discard a card from your hand. And so because Subterrors want to play in a complex game state, Coral Dragon simply isn't the best option. You're already minusing to summon it, you don't want to discard more cards as well. Stardust Charge Warrior is the opposite in that when you summon it you can draw a card, however its on-field effect isn't as useful. Now I think if we had another level 6 Subterror Behemoth monster, Galaxy Serpent would be a lot more useful as we could go into rank 6s with that Behemoth and then whatever rank 6 Synchro we summon. So you know, wink wink Konami, give us a level 6 Subterror Behemoth, that'd be awesome. Thanks. Next we play the Speedroid engine. We play 1 Speedroid Terratop, 1 Takedown. The Speedroid engine is really good for summoning rank 3s, especially MX Saber Invoker, which can special summon Nemesis Warrior from our decks. Invoker is so important, and there's a combo with E-Set and Terratop, which involves Invoker, and and it really allows you to make a really good first turn board. And then there are other rank 3s of course which are useful, which we'll talk to when we get to the extra deck. Next we played 2 Prediction Princess Tarot Tray. Tarot Tray fixes the problem of not being able to flip your monsters on either player's turn, so it offers valuable disruption as well as being a pretty good beat stick as well. Being a ritual monster is troublesome, but when you do summon ritual monsters, you're tributing your material, which can also trigger your Heretic's effects. So it kind of works out perfectly, right? And the final monsters we play are 2 Maxis. Maxi's really good this format against Blue Eyes, Burning Abyss, even Pendulums to an extent. And so it's, a good card to have in your deck just in case, as it can kind of serve as defense, as well as helping you draw into your other engine cards. This deck obviously excels when going second, and between the Heretics and Maxi, you can easily make very strong boards on your first turn. We play 15 spell cards. First we have 3 Hidden Cities and 3 Terraformings. Hidden City is extremely important to get to because it can flip your behemoths face up on your turn, as well as protect your other monsters from attacks if you do control a face down behemoth. Add that to the fact that you can search a Subterror monster when it's activated, really makes it a versatile and important card in the deck, which is why we play essentially 6 of them. Next we play 3 Heretic Seal of Convocations to help us get to our combo pieces more. So if we have any Heretic monster in Convocation, it can allow us to essentially summon one, summon the other, and then make a Tzolkin or rank 6. So Convocation is definitely necessary at 3. You can also activate multiples per turn, which is an added bonus. Next we play 3 Pre-Preparation of Rites, which is really important for the Ritual engine. It's such an easy +1 and it's so good, there's no reason not to play 3 of this card. And then finally for the spell cards we play 2 Prediction Ritual and 1 Reinforcements of the Army. So to speak on the whole Ritual engine as a whole, the reason why I don't play more than 2 Tarot Tray or more than 2 Prediction Rituals is because neither of them are very good at multiples and neither are good late game. So while it's important to the deck, you don't really want to see it too often. And so I found 2 to be a very good number, especially when combined with Preparation of Rites. For the extra deck we play 1 Ultimaya Tzolkin, then by extension 1 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, 1 Michael the Arclight Sworn. Crystal Wing really brings this deck up to new levels in my opinion. So many decks have trouble getting over Crystal Wing that summoning him alone can win you games. Add that to a Tarot Tray or a set Umastrix, and you really have a very solid board. Crystal Wing's definitely a top 5 monster in the game, and any deck that can summon it, can be a threat. Like if you look at Heroes right now, Heroes are summoning Tzolkin and Crystal Wing by using Coral Dragon, and look, they're topping all over the place. And so if they can do it, why can't we? Next we play 1 Psyframe Lord Omega, which you can make with Umastrix and Flamvel Guard. Next for the rank 3s we have 1 MX Saber Invoker, 1 Totem Bird, 1 Breaksword, and 1 Dante. This deck is really weak to board wipes such as Dark Hole, Raigeki, Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, and Totem Bird's really good for negating those, as well as cards like Cosmojo. Breaksword's good for answering back row. Invoker can summon Nemesis Warrior from our decks, and Dante's a good Cherries target, as well as having very good attack. For the rank 4s, we play 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Daigusto Emerald, 1 Castel, 1 Utopia, 1 Utopia Prime, and 1 Utopia Lightning. You can make rank 4s pretty easily by summoning multiple Nemesis Warriors, and the one I probably summon the most is Utopia, Utopia Prime, and Utopia the Lightning, as that just answers so many different threats. And then finally, the last monster in the extra deck is 1 Constellar Ptolemy M7. It's a rank 6, and you can use it to get back some of your combo pieces from the graveyard, as well as answer your opponent's boards. For the side deck, we play 3 Ghost Reaper Winter Cherries, which I'll side in obviously for Burning Abyss and for ABCs. Then we play 3 different Kaijus in Slumber, play 1 Gamesio, 1 Radiant, and 1 Kumongous Sticky String, and then 1 Slumber. Those are just for answering decks that have monster floodgates such as Blue Eyes, or decks that might summon Crystal Wing or Dark Law, really just, again, any monster floodgates. Then we play 2 Cosmic Cyclones and 2 Twin Twisters for answering trap cards or other spell or trap floodgates. So between the Kaijus and the spell and trap destruction, we have 8 cards for going second. I'll side in 4 depending on the matchup, so if I'm worried about a deck that plays monster floodgates, I'll side in the Kaijus. If I'm worried about spell and trap floodgates, I'll side in the Cosmic Cyclones and Twin Twisters. And then for going first in general, I like to side in 1 Solemn Warning and 2 Solemn Scoldings. These are also very good against Cosmos, as you can just negate the summon of the pilot and that kind of ends their turn. But I like Scoldings also because they protect you from board wipes and other spell or traps, which is one of the weaknesses of this deck. And then finally, 1 ABC Buster Dragon for Cherries against ABCs. I know ABCs aren't out yet, but they are online and they will be out soon, so I figured I might as well include this. And now one thing that I was considering that I wasn't sure of was I was considering playing Pot of Desires. But my problem with Pot of Desires is that you need a lot of Subterror monsters to resolve Stalagmo's effect consistently. You also want a lot of Subterror monsters so that you can cycle through them with Nemesis Warrior. You also don't want to banish your normal monsters. So there's so many different cards that you don't want to banish with Pot of Desires. However, with this being a combo deck, one that wants to play in a complex game state, any sort of draw 2 +1 card is, extremely powerful. It's going to be so useful. And so what I was considering was adding in 2 Pot of Desires and then adding the Solemns to the main deck. So I'd have 45 cards, which would decrease the probability of banishing a normal monster or a Subterror monster. So while the risk will still be there, it won't happen as often. So let me know what you think about that. Should I play a 40 card deck with no Pot of Desires or a 45 card deck with Desires? Or should I take something out and add Desires into the main deck? But once again, playing Desires in a 40 card deck when you need a very large Subterror engine and normal monsters, it gets a little risky. But let me know what you think. I'm really curious to know what you guys think about that and this deck in general. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comment section. The last thing I want to mention is that I am in the next Great YouTuber competition, so please head over to Nim's channel and give me a vote. I would really appreciate it. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow in the next video.